Our project is JustMod, and I am Sammy Sniffen, and I was responsible for the designing of the logo and putting together most of the presentation.
I'm Aiden, and my responsibility was building the wireframe.
Hi, I'm Tucker White, and I was responsible for the marketing of this app.
I'm Caleb. I figured out the problem and solved it as well.
I'm Mark Copeland, and I figured out financials.
So our app is called JustMod, and what it's supposed to do is bring in all the mods for game apps in one place. We also have a jingle, and that was my idea. It was go here, JustMod.
So the problem we identified was that modifying video games on mobile devices is difficult. Many of the services that exist right now for modifying video games are not exactly the easiest to use. We did a little bit of digging and downloaded some of the existing competitors and found that one of the apps was not even usable because of it being completely covered by ads. And also many of these services lack quality control, as essentially any user has the ability to submit a modification for a game. So our solution is JustMods, and our service would use a moderation team for quality control in addition to a user-based rating system. So this would allow people who are downloading mods to look at them and verify their quality to make sure that they are what they're actually wanting. We also offer an affordable subscription plan for premium mods and adless experience. So this is our wireframe. It's just a quick demo of what our mobile app would look like.
So our market size from what we found was we target an age demographic from about 13 years old to 28. It can be like a little bit above or both below, since many people play games, and depending on what they're allowed to do, younger kids may also download for mods for things like Minecraft. Also, modding enthusiasts are a smaller portion of the gaming community in the world, but there are around 1 billion gamers typically. So even if you can get a small portion of that, that is still a large amount of revenue that comes out of that. So this is our revenue plan. We have a tiered subscription. So the basic would be the free, which would come with ads and a limited amount of games that you can come with that. So for example, the most popular games like maybe Minecraft would be included in the more paid for subscription plans. And then the second tier would be Plus, which comes with no ads, but it still has the limited games. Now for that, you would only pay $1 because some people don't necessarily, they have like games that are as popular, so they wouldn't be in the restricted game section, but they also just pay ads because no one likes ads. And they would possibly be willing to pay $1, and that would add up quickly per month. Now for premium, it's $3.99 per a month, and no ads, and you can access all of the games. So depending on how much they play video games and how much they are willing to watch the ads, people would be willing to see different amounts. In addition to that, so the projected income for 1 month based off just 1,000, which would possibly be where we would start, or even lower. But if you had about 1,000 people willing to use the app, and say 100 people were just doing it for free, maybe like 100, 250 would come in from ads. And then for 300 using the second tier plus subscription, about $300 per month based off the dollar. And then for the 200 premium, it would be about 800. So the marketing strategy we would use is target audiences across social media, based off again on Instagram or TikTok, or even on web pages where, oh, you're looking at this type of website, or you like to look at a lot of these different accounts on Instagram. These are kind of like, you know, things you might want to check out. In addition, word of mouth, if some influencers find this is a good app to use, they might use it on a broadcast or something similar, and people would say, oh, this looks like fun. So I'm gonna try it out. It's free and not expensive. So we looked at our competitors, and one of the things we noticed was that in many of the reviews, while they didn't necessarily have terrible reviews for the most part, most of the reviews, even the good ones, said there are so many ads and we have to pay for anything. So by giving them the free tier with ads, they have access to some of the games and they just pay $1 for some no ads.
Financial stuff is going to mostly be boosted by Amazon Web Services, which will roughly cost around $1,000 a year, between $1,000 to $1,100. That will mostly be able to support our user base, and then we'll be putting in around $300 for ads across YouTube and TikTok, most likely, because our ad base is mostly going to be there. But we did not factor in the cost to go on Play Store and App Store, which is around $100 for developers, but that would only be a one-time charge.
Any questions?
What was the incentive for the creators that ones they're providing it?
So each creator, for when their app is mod is developed or downloaded to your device, they would get a small percentage of like maybe 5 cents per download. So depending on how many users are using it and how often they download it, so if like it gets removed each time, that they have to re-download each time, they would in turn get more money, which in turn causes more advertising, because if they get revenue from it, they would want more people to use it.
Quick question. The numbers got wireframes. How far did you get with wireframes? Just for clarity.
So I didn't have enough space to fit on the presentation, but we got to the point where you were able to, we didn't get to each individual mod page, but we were able to, I think, I don't know if you can go backwards on there, but we were able to create, forward again, there. We were able to make it so you could click through all the different categories. And look through some of the settings, but unfortunately we didn't have enough time to create a sample of what each individual mod page would look like.
Gotcha. And one little tidbit of a client that does do ads through software, they don't charge for they don't have like a premium. They do in-app purchases. So everybody can see it for free, but then the in-app, so it might be something to consider.
So I like how you you seem like you gave a good amount of consideration to your pricing model, and you had the premium tier set at $3.99. And I also saw your expected cost for AWS. As somebody who has had the misfortune of having a bad actor completely inflate and destroy your AWS budget. I'm curious if you gave much consideration to that or included that in your pricing model.
I think we did a little bit. Honestly, we were a little bit tight on time when we got to the point of putting on the slide, so I forgot to add that. But that was for 1 month, the revenue part. So I added up the cost. So if that is one per month, and then you say it's, remember, I think earlier I said there are about 1 billion gamers, and if even like 0.1% of those use this app, that would be around 16.2 million. And subtracted from that, it would be less. I can't exactly think of the math at the moment, but it would still be enough to make it worth it, if that makes sense.
You talked a little bit about how you're going to vet a lot of these mods as they come through. Can you talk through about that process, about what happens when a mod's submitted and kind of how you're going to allow the user to like read those mods?
Sure. So on the mod page for every mod on the app, we didn't get a chance to wrap it out in wireframe. But our plan was to have a simple star-based system. So every time a user downloads a mod, they can easily rate it just by clicking from 1 star to 5 stars what they thought of the mod, and maybe leave a short word with text if they want to. And regarding our vetting process, we intend to have a policy of disallowing non-family friendly mods on the site. So each mod would have to go through an application process to get their mod accepted on the site, and there would be it's still tentative, but maybe a $35 fee to boost it to the site.